right, here we go. First two coming out with the questions we have about what's going to happen if war is coming, the earth. Here we go. Oh boy. It says, broken heart as we go into battle. Right off the get-go, we're going to struggle, battle. It says, and across that is a bunch of karma that will be paid. In other words, there's no need for us to even consider going into these struggles or these battles. This is all being made to protect the investments of the United States. It's saying this is a weak move. In other words, there's a weakness and people are giving into it. It says at this point, in the past, it says there was no destruction. In other words, everything was going to be fine until something happened. It says, now it says God is watching everything. It talks about God. It shows God watching everything, looking down, looking for people who truly love other people, who are obedient and do the right things. This is something that it's kind of saying that for that. I've never seen that card in that place. Never, ever, ever. True love never in that place. Like true unconditional love is what it's saying. And God watching. And then it says, a man who's upside down. And it's talking about someone who's in over their head. Someone who's making decisions over their head. It says, and something is about to happen quickly. It says, opportunities you need to take advantage of. So it's talking about taking advantage of opportunities. It says, and don't get impatient. Like, don't get impatient for this to happen. Change your energy. Because a lot of this has to do with decisions that are being made without our input or anything. It says there is in the future going to be good and bad. So we'll see what that means. And then it says right now it talks about energy and it talks about delayed, like good energy delayed. And it says, but don't be angry. It says this is something that's coming to cut off our heads. So interesting, the base cards are really interesting. Talks about a man, and I would think that the man over here would be our president, who's in over his head, who's making decisions without, really thinking about what it's going to be the cost to us. I don't think they really care. That's my personal opinion. I don't think they really give a shit about us. They just care about whatever they're going to invest or whatever money they're making, and it's killing us. They want to get rid of us. That's my belief. All right, here we go. Let's go to broken heart in the battle. It says not alone, like this is a battle that's not going to happen. There's going to be a lot of people involved. It says, and this is something that's going to start overseas or has started overseas, and that's the card for overseas. So this has started in Ukraine, really. The battle that started already was in Ukraine. And that battle has now led to a lot more other things. It says lessons that haven't been learned from the past. It says, but the sun will shine. It says, and there won't be any burden. In other words, we're hoping that things are going to get better here. So, do I see us going to war? It's saying, hopefully the lessons are being learned from the past. There's things that are happening now that I've kind of heard, and I don't even know what to believe anymore when it comes to the media, but things that I've heard that talk about not too late to make them different changes, not to push too hard. But it looks like they're pushing and pushing. A lot of things are happening. They're now being accused of causing the earthquakes in Turkey, if you guys heard about that. Basically, our battleship, they show our battleship docking in on the same day, and then later that evening, they show these pulses of light, and then right after that's the earthquake, right before it. So they're saying that they used HARP, and Turkey had left NATO, and that made the United States very mad. So here are some things that are happening, and it's kind of talking about that. That says karma to be paid, which is interesting. It says there won't be any change with that. It says angry men or angry man. It talks about angry men, like men who are angry, who want everything. It says we have no defense. There's nothing to defend us here. We're helpless in a sense because whatever they decide will decide our fate. And angry men who want to battle are going to cause us problems. It says even the darkness will be destroyed, like the light and the dark. Everything will be destroyed. The only thing that will be saved are the people who have the money to go underground. That's scary. It says to turn around the darkness.
Man, I hope the day that they die, God is like, nah, you can't come in.
I hope so too. And then it talks about, but you don't even know now with all the cloning shit they got. They can just take your brain and put it in someone else.
People, real souls.
It's just crazy. It says this is something that's very depressing. It's very sad. It says the weakness. The weakness in what? It says the weakness for money. The weakness for greed. Greed and power and money. It says, and turning other people, so taking money from some people and gaining more money for themselves. It says a woman and a man, like from man and woman, and they're taking it from people who work hard for it and do things. It says, and who just are trying to be happy in their lives, and they're stripping us of that. The taxes, the stuff, all that's going to pay for a war that we shouldn't even be there for, which is just crazy. It says, so God's watching down, and it's saying he's watching and looking for people who are real because something's about to come. It says he's looking at mothers, he's looking at people who are going to die. There were good people and bad people. It's talking about people with no new beginnings who he knows it's all going to be over for. People who just want money. It says, and there's God again. That's crazy. Right on top of the card that I said. Crazy. That says, and God's watching. He's looking. He's taking account. I told people a long time ago, when things do come to an end, there'll be people on the right and people on the left. And everyone on the left will perish. And everyone who's doing the right thing or walking that path will be okay. And I'm not talking about complete, we're people. But I am talking about doing the right things. And so it talks about a man upside down over his head and over his head. And it says, rest assured that this person is two people. In other words, it's saying there's two people there. Now, it's weird because there's been a lot of conspiracy shit about, of course, our president not being the same guy all the time. They have people who replace them. What do they call them? Doppelgangers? Or did you know about that? Like Hillary Clinton has like 3 or 4 different people who can show up as her.
That's why no one knows. Like if they try to target her,
yeah, exactly.
They won't really kill the real Hillary Clinton.
And that's what it's kind of saying, like face to face. It's saying. So he's like two people though. One person who pretends to care about us, and one person whose real intent is to destroy things, to bring things to an end. That's what it's saying. It says the opportunities for people to love during all this, it says, will turn people upside down. In other words, people aren't going to be okay if this starts to happen. They're going to lose it. They're going to kill each other. It's going to be horrible.
Be careful with the
sorry.
Sorry, I thought of that right now.
Yeah, they're going to do different things they shouldn't be doing, malicious things, and that's scary. So that's why I'm saying this is something that we can't allow to happen, but it's happening. It says, and then what comes quickly, it says, is that things start to become very incomplete, money-wise, food-wise, things like that. It says there becomes temptation with people, of course, and that leads to other things. For people trying to get money, to get stuff. It says, depending on what road you go down. In other words, do you become one of them like everybody else? If something happens and we're starving, there's a lot of things that can happen now.
The microchip.
An EMP, something can happen where we don't even have power, people will be starving. There's just a lot of stuff. It says, there's no love. In other words, there's no love between people when it's about survival. That's what it's saying. So who knows? There's something coming though, I guarantee you that. It says, so take advantage of opportunities. It says, because there will be no triumph. It says, families will be turned upside down. It says, over people who want money. Relationships. It says, there will be no celebration. It says, but don't get impatient or get anxiety over this, because if you start focusing on what you want to change and not what you're afraid of happening, things will change. The universe will answer you. There's a lot of power in thought, a lot of energy that comes from that, and maybe we can make a difference. But I think people are starting to get a little scared, and that's kind of scary. It talks about that impatience. There's no triumph in that. It's also saying, that there doesn't have to be hardship here. It says, we're taking risks that we don't need to take, and the only people that are going to be left hanging is us. It says we need someone to save us here, a knight in shining armor, a miracle. We need a miracle from God. We need someone who's going to come and save us, whether it's God or whether it's another president or whether it's someone who takes over something. I don't know.
Is it the Antichrist?
I don't know.
Didn't they say, like, in the Bible, it says that the Antichrist will come and deliver peace for like a couple years, but then
Well,
his
that's-
true face will show out.
I mean, yeah, but I don't think that's what we need. It's talking about what we need,
I hope Trump come back into office.
right? So do I. I hope Trump comes back too. Okay, and then it says what's good and bad. Talks about that. It says there's triumph. It says in freedom. In other words, there's triumph, and there's that's what we're supposed to be free. It talks about that, and it says we're supposed to have homes, have money, have things. We're supposed to live, not our world be turned upside down. It says that's the obstacle that we face now, turning everything upside down on us. It says energy-wise, energy delayed. It said no anger. In other words, nobody's angry. Nobody in the world is saying anything. People are just living like every day doing the same stuff. And so you're going to work, of course you have to, and you're paying your bills, and you're having sex, and you're doing all kinds of shit. You're really not paying attention to what's going on all around you, and really and truly the circus is playing. And while the circus is playing, they're making decisions that are going to affect the future of your lives, and which could lead to war. It doesn't say yet, but we'll see if it pops up. It says there are men who are telling lies and deceit, who are pushing propaganda, who are telling you that things are okay, or the media is portraying certain things. It says, and that's unfortunate. It says that's why people won't return to love. It says because we haven't been able to. Wait, did you hear the cat? So it's saying these are the things that we as a people haven't mastered. We haven't figured out the truth. Nobody really knows what the truth is anymore, because there's so many different things coming in, and we're so involved with what's happening now, like just around us, that we don't see the big picture of what's really going on.
That's so sad.
It says, and that's the reason why things are coming to cut off our head. It says, because we're incomplete. We only care about us. We're selfish towards us and our relationships and the people we're with and around, which makes sense, I guess. But at the same time, the world's falling apart all around us. We're on the brink of World War III. And it's saying because of that, because of the incompleteness of people's unawareness or not being woke to what's happening, it says, to the lies and deceit, it says, and to what justice is doing. It's talking about what justice is doing. It says, we're going to end up very discontent, blocked from our real lives and not being able to see, blocked, blind, bonded, all those things. It says, and what we need to do is find our spirituality. It's saying, and then it talks about spirituality again. Spirituality and turning around just wanting money. It says, because it's good to have money, don't get me wrong. Like, you want to have money so you can survive and have nice things. That's all wonderful, and everybody wants to reach that level. But I think there's got to be balance at some point. Because it says, if you don't want there to be burden, it says, then money shouldn't be your biggest thing. It should be your family, God. Yeah, money is a great thing to provide, but it shouldn't be your biggest thing. And it says, that's how miracles really happen. When people are more balanced in their life and their energy is good. It's saying, don't be a fool. It says, you're about to be brought to your knees. It says, which is interesting. It says, that's the thing that's going to make you, that's what's hidden, is you're not seen, is that they're setting everybody up to be brought to their knees. And all it takes is one decision and everything changes. And so it's telling you guys, people out there, that it doesn't show the destruction yet, because there's no destructions over here, so there's no destruction yet, but it's coming. In other words, if we don't do something, or people don't wake up, or start standing up for what's going on around us, and all of us say the same shit, what am I going to do? What the hell am I going to do? What can I do? You can meditate, you can push good energy, you can do all kinds of, maybe it sounds stupid to you, but that's how they're doing it. That's why you have the Illuminati, and that's why you have rituals, and that's why you have cults, and you have all these different rituals that they do with children and blood, and because they're pulling all that energy to tear apart what we have. And we can do the same thing. We can pull all our energy together to think about positive things and changing the world and changing the way people think. It's a battle. You're in a battle between good and evil.